Pigeons 420. Mr. Grow It. And Rob from Cannabis Lifestyle TV. From the Stash Podcast.
Hey, what's up, guys? Do you want to get your hands on the latest From the Stash merch? Check the links below, get the From the Stash store, and go check to see the latest drop. We appreciate all the support, as always, and we will check you in the next epi. And a huge shout out to Flava for sponsoring today's video. If you're looking for that one secret sauce to help increase yield, average THC, and terpene profile, you're going to want to use Flava. Flava is a polymer-based solution that will help your plant uptake nutrients to the most effective manner and help hold those nutrients so that your plant has no issues in uptaking those nutrients. In an independent test, Flava was found to increase yield by 12%, the average THC percentage by 14%, and the average terpene percentage by 118%. This is the secret sauce that you're missing in your garden, so don't wait. Go get yourself some Flava. Use the links below and promo code THESTASH to save a few dollars off at checkout, and thank them for being a sponsor of today's video.
AC Infinity is also sponsoring this episode. Use discount code THESTASH15 for a discount on any of their products. AC Infinity is well known to have some of the highest quality gardening equipment on the market today. They have everything from grow lights, grow tents, inline fans, oscillating fans, smart controllers, and so much more. Visit their website at acinfinity.com and don't forget to use discount code THESTASH15 to save on any of their products.
Yo,
What's up, everyone?
Good to see you, boys.
Going
Good to see you,
on.
boys.
Yeah, welcome,
Some
welcome,
guests
welcome.
in the house here today.
Special
Welcome
guests.
to Mendo Dope,
Yeah,
boys.
What up, y'all? What's
Yo.
up?
Good to see you, boys. Wow, what a pleasure to have you guys on the show. I have to admit, I've been following you guys for a very long time. I think the first time I saw you guys, you were on the grow table, or the round table with the grow
Yeah,
table.
two round table.
That was a few years ago, if I may.
Yeah, that was a really cool show.
Yeah, it was, man. And I you can almost say that this show is kind of like a fruition, or a kind of a response, or inspired by the grow table.
The next evolution of it, no doubt, yeah. That's what's
Yeah.
up. We've been watching your guys' stuff a lot since we started getting ready to do the chat, especially because we've had a couple weeks since it took to get to get here. So you guys got some really cool videos out there too.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, I
you guys
mean,
are doing your thing. It's super dope. You got all kinds of dope stuff I was watching.
yeah, we've been doing it for a while collectively. We got our own channels and stuff. Cannabis Lifestyle, Mr. Grow It, and Pigeons 420 obviously came together. And something more I think this community's been missing is that camaraderie and that unity amongst the people they look at on the internet, so to speak. And I think it's working really well, man. We're seeing that changing the game in terms of like vibes and energy, but also in actions and inspiration. So like, I love what you guys are doing, like I was saying beforehand, and the creativity on top of obviously the plant and everything. But if we go too much further, maybe we let the people who aren't familiar with you know a little bit about yourselves.
Oh yeah, no doubt, yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot to say, I guess. You know, we've been into the cannabis culture, this whole game with growing and music side of it for a long time now. We started, I think our first seed was back in about 2006, 2007 when we first had our very first plants, and from there it really just took off. We had a deep love and passion for the plant, and growing up here in Mendocino County in the Emerald Triangle, we were really blessed to be surrounded by a lot of OGs and people that have been doing it long before us. So we started learning a lot of stuff right off the bat early. And we had fun growing big plants. We were out here in a spot that we could do this. So we started growing monster plants, intertwining our music with this whole cannabis culture, really, taking our music out into the garden. You know, after years of putting out music, we wanted to kind of incorporate things as deep as we could with the cannabis culture, you know, being inspired by musicians like Cypress Hill and, Cottonmouth Kings and these different people who've been repping weed for a long time. We wanted to kind of come into the game and do something new and really represent for the farmers and the people up in the hills that are putting in work growing these gardens. So it's been trippy, it's evolved into such a big movement, the whole planters of the trees, the cannabis culture, and we're just so happy to be still doing this and still just standing our ground and trying to survive in this crazy weed game.
That's awesome. Yeah, I heard about you guys from your YouTube channel. I mean, you guys have a massive YouTube channel now, over 133,000 subscribers. I'm looking at it right now. And I mean, you mentioned the massive trees you're growing. I remember seeing you guys were really rapping out there in between the trees.
Yeah.
You set up a booth there. And I thought that was so cool, so unique. Nobody's ever done that before. And you guys are killing it. So I definitely think that we should get into kind of your growth style. Outdoors, how are you guys growing these massive trees? Like, what's the secret sauce you guys are doing out there?
Yeah, I mean, one of the big secret sauces, is just the where we're at, our terroir, the ground that we have, and the
climate.
just the climate of being like semi close to the ocean and being really hot. We got really cold nights, and the soil's just really good here, just naturally too. So it's like that's a pretty big upper hand. There's a nice amount of growers out there, you guys involved, that are like take it very seriously and are really good growers that we could just imagine what some of you guys could do also out here if you had us patch in Mendo. It's like you do all the tricks that you guys are doing on your gardens, it would be crazy to see out here. So it's like that's one big advantage. Even this year, we tried to kind of keep our plants a little bit a little smaller than normal. We had them in smaller pots when we transplanted them outside, and they still just got huge. Like, doesn't take all that much for especially a seed start that's really happy to just flourish out here and just rip. The last few days, even like maybe 2 weeks, they've grown another foot or so. It's just like they just never seem to stop, especially this time of year. We go up there pretty often, but we're not up there every day. It's not at our house, so we go up every other day, every 3 days, and it's a big difference every time we go up there.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just really organic, everything's super organic. We don't push the plants at all to try to do a lot of crazy things. We'll drop a lot of dry amendment food and teas and different microorganism stuff and let the plant eat when it wants to eat, and it has this kind of ample amount of poop and all kinds of stuff mixed in there, and they just really rip with just organic methods. It's so cool to see the yields that you get, besides how big the plants get, but also how chunky the buds can get, just without doing any chemicals.
Yeah, just having good solid genetics, like it comes down to good genetics can perform so great organically and like very cleanly like fed and taken care of. It's not something that you have to pump with chemicals and boosters to make really big buds. Like good genetics perform great when they're treated right. So it's definitely like a trifecta of stuff with the climate, the way that we grow, the genetics that we use, and the timing too. It definitely comes down to timing with these.
Yeah.
Well, you
That's
can't
awesome.
deny. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, I know you guys have your own genetics, or at least did a collaboration with Subcool back in the day, and Mendo Dope was the strain. I actually grew one of those out. I was gifted seeds from MV Closet Medgrow. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
And, he gifted it to me, and then I grew it out. Amazing smoke. Really, really good smoke. So
Awesome.
do you guys have your own genetics line, or was that just like a one-off thing with Subcool, or what?
That was what kicked off the whole breeding project for us. Like working with Subcool over the years, he wanted us to get into breeding for a while, and like we were just always so just into the growing side of the plants and doing our music stuff that we just didn't want to dive into the breeding side yet. But he kept pushing it at us, and we kept looking at him doing it and watching projects, and it intrigued us to want to get into it more. And with the first project that we did was with Subcool. It was a special cut of locomotion that we had found, and he chose to use his Corkle male to make the cross. So that was like the birth of us actually starting to make genetics, and it was to do it with Subcool. It meant so much to us, and it was such like a huge thing to have been working with him for so long, doing so much stuff, growing his genetics for so long, and then to collab and create a strain together that got us into wanting to breed more and creating our own lines. So that was the first one, and then from there we've dropped 2 different lines so far, and we're in the works of creating some new stuff, but we're really trying to be very picky with what we use, and we're searching right now.
Yeah, it's funny. Even in the beginning, when we made the Mendo Dope strain with Sub, he talked about making a strain for a while, and we should have our own Mendo Dope strain. And we're like, that would be so cool. And we just kept thinking, what the fuck strain are we gonna do? Like, I don't know what cross. Like, we want a Kush strain? Do we want a fruit strain? Do we want what do we even want? Like, we like varieties so much that we don't have a set strain that we always really go to. like for long periods of time. So we didn't know what the hell we wanted to cross to make a Mendo Dope strain. So we kind of had to let Sub pick it for us.
Yep.
The Locomotion, everyone loved so much, and it was so pretty. It had such crazy pink and purple hairs, and it has that burnt rubber, tangerine, orange kind of smell thing. And it's just, it was so, we had to let go and let Sub make our first strain and get it out of our like thoughts. And then after that, a couple years later, it was a little, we've always had a stable of mothers. So it was kind of easy to say, like, these mothers are ones we've liked for a long time. Let's just cross all these up. So now we've kind of done that and crossed everything that we've had in our stable for a little bit. And now we're like wondering what we're going to do next. It's like, I don't want to follow the hype and do everything that's out there right now, because there's so much of it with the runts and gelatos and everything. So it's trying to find something new that is like different than everyone else has is going to be the next step now.
And how do you top that, man? You couldn't have picked a better guy to partner with, if I may, and the original.
Yeah, it was really cool. Really cool how would just how Meat and Sub at Cannabis Cup, one of the first Cannabis Cups out here, getting him a CD and then him actually liking the music and talking to him more, and then going up to his house and hanging out with him at his own house and him coming to our house and stuff. It was so crazy how like the couple years that we started getting to be friends, how much we were just clicked so good and had so much fun times with him.
Yeah, so many of his streams started with your guys' music.
Yeah. Once you got on it, and no one ever did that for us. We were trying to get music out, for quite a few years, and he was the first one that had a following, especially, and that shared it like a crazy amount.
Yeah, we were so grateful when Sub was playing the music. Like, it meant so much to us, like how like it really introduced our music to a whole culture of people that we had never been able to break into yet. Because like for a while during our first years in the music industry and stuff, like we were working with some gangster rappers. We came up in the game with Reek Daddy and these cats out from like Vallejo from the Crest side. So once we started transitioning into like a really focus on what we were doing, like putting our lifestyle into the music of like real cannabis culture, being farmers, like it's time to put it all on the line and talk about what we're really doing. We're not going to sugarcoat it anymore. We're just going to let it go. And like to have Sub help actually introduce that to people to start hearing it. And from there, like to build such a cool relationship with Sub and to learn so much from him. And like, it was such an amazing journey. We missed Sub so much. He was a
long live the Weed Nerd Nation, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, he went hard. He went hard from the very beginning on the forums and stuff. It's crazy what he did before any of us thought about putting ourselves on blast. Like
damn right.
He for sure helped, get us to start showing our gardens, because we grew for quite a few years before we ever put any pictures out there or any video, especially.
We were real cautious about it before, about putting so much stuff out there. We had just a few pictures, but watching Sub's videos, then having him come out and film and like seeing like the reaction of people getting to see our garden and like see how much love there was and how stoked people were and like wanting to learn from it. Like it was such a motivation for us to get into that, and especially after when we were raided, like that it hit us so hard and they wanted to knock us down to do so little from what we were doing that we're like, okay, like now let's like really get into this filming side of it and show everything. And so that sparked a whole, the whole How to Grow series that we kicked off on YouTube that built the whole thing that we had going. So it's super trippy. It's crazy.
It's really a testament to how integral or how important the connection of our community really is, Like we only have ourselves. We only have the community, Nobody else wants us, So if we don't, it's a little bit aggressive, but it's it's the truth, So seeing the connection between you guys, if it wasn't for Subcool and it wasn't for you guys and it wasn't for the OG boys and the round table, it's like I don't even know I would be here, So I owe a lot of what I have to you guys and to your path and journey. So hats off, man. It's an incredible story, and man, I can totally see us diving into this on a whole other range. It's all day, some beers and some bowls.
Get toasted.
So, yeah, right. You guys have an incredible schedule. You guys are so busy. I'm kind of curious how you guys manage life and such an incredible garden. Like, you guys, the plants speak for themselves. Wink was kind of showing them earlier. They're monsters. What does it take to manage life and an incredible garden to that scale?
It's for sure gotten, we didn't have kids. Daniel had his kid 3 years ago. So
Yep, my first daughter's, just over 3 now. So
without the kids, it was for sure we were a little bit easier. It's the life thing with the girlfriend, wives, and then the kids now. I just have my kids 2 months old. So I'm now jumping to the dad
gang, baby.
status. And it's like, yeah, it's getting harder. Thank God throughout the years of the of growing so long and just how we know the plants and the climate out here, the plants are most of the time grow themselves pretty dang good. There's only a few hours we have to put in at the right time, throughout the week for everything to really keep ripping. Harvest is just crazy, but we have techniques to get it done fast, and then at least it's dry. We could worry about it slower. We're not in a rush anymore as long as it's out inside and dry, and we could take our time debranching and getting it to the trimmers and whatever's going to happen. Everything's so trippy now with the gardens being bigger and with the legalization. It's a huge process now at the end of the year.
Oh yeah, I
Just
could
with
imagine
metric
it.
alone, it can be a huge process. We skip a lot of details with metric. We just do the real basic, what they kind of need to know, and everything else kind of is natural. You don't have to. We don't keep track of branches that are coming down, or we don't pull leaves. So we don't have to weigh like our leaves that we're pulling off and all this crap. We try to just make everything as really smooth and easy as possible with the garden.
Yep, and like they say, you gotta do what you love, and like we really love plants. We love farming and growing. So like even though when the game gets so rough at times and it's such a shitty situation on one side of it, like we just love the garden so much, and it brings us such good vibes and positivity to just growing plants, and especially with our own genetics, like it brings it to a whole nother level of watching our babies grow, and seeing how they perform. And like it's so cool that we create this, and now we get to find new phenos. Pheno hunting for us is so fun. So we try to make it, like, even though it is a lot of work, like we have a lot of fun when we're in the garden working. Like we're not out there like pissed off, like, oh man, I gotta do this. It's like sometimes it's frustrating or it's overwhelming, because when the big plants are hard to take care of for sure. Like the other day, we were just putting on the next round of caging and it slamming in poles and doing all this. Like, all right, yep, we had to do this to ourselves.
Yeah,
again,
you're talking like, why do we do this to ourselves? Like we're there's not a lot of permanent gardens out here growing giant plants because you can grow unlimited plants. So the whole reason we started growing big plants was because we could only do 25, and now you could do 1 million if you wanted to in a 10,000 square foot garden or whatever. So it's
Crazy.
we're going against the grain still. It's just so fun to see these seeds. And like I was saying before, we didn't try to get them to be trees this year. We wanted them to be like 5 or 6 pound plants, maybe like a nice average of a medium sized tree to us, or like a seed start would be like 6 pounds. And they're as big as some of the plants we've ever grown. Some of them are going to be as big as any plants we've grown. Like, I don't know. There's only a few plants that have really shined that are like bigger than the other ones. There's a lot of years when they get big, they're all very close to the same size. So it's hard to judge what the biggest plant we've ever grown kind of is. But this year, guaranteed, our Project Powers that are in the big mounds are humongous, and they're just like barely starting to flower. So it's outrageous what they're going to do. The cages like we just put on are 25-foot long cage to do a circle. So it's like we have to cut this long ass roll of cage and then roll it up, walk in the garden, and then unravel the huge thing, put the stakes in, and then we raise the cage up off the ground so we can get under the plant and get to the stalk for cleaning. And if you put it on the ground, it's just kind of a lot of cage wasted because where branches aren't going to be also. So raise that giant cage up, and then also like we're going to have to trellis it too. So now the cages are like 12 feet tall, like 15 feet wide, and we're going to have to put 3 rows of trellis to connect it, because the trellises are only 6 foot long or whatever, 6 foot wide. So they're not really wide enough for our plants. So we have to connect them with green tape in between. It's like, look, man, why do we keep growing trees? It's so fucking funny, but it's like, why we can't growing these small plants? Like we have a patch in the garden that is all clones, and they're going to be like 3-pounders. It's like a perfect size plant for controlling, and it's what the average person would do out here.
Chest high little bushes.
But you have to start them so late, and it's like it just seems weird still for us to wait so long and not put our plants out in spring and not have anything started in the beginning of the year and just wait around for 2 months to start our clones or start our plants and stuff. But we have to start kind of doing that. Yeah. It's
Management and workload, you know.
definitely getting harder and harder to juggle everything that we're doing in between life stuff, and like with the music things, being like going out on tour and hitting the road and doing shows. Like, we took a little pause like we did for me, and then we took a pause for Bleezy when he had his baby, so we're about to be going back on the road. But it's always trippy trying to schedule things in between plant work and then going out on the road, being gone, come back, take care of plants, family time, all the stuff together, and then trying to get in the studio and make new music and write songs and get ready for the next project. It's a lot. It's a handful for sure.
Yeah, because with the doing 50, like we've always kind of ended up doing 50% weed, 50% music. Like if we stopped doing music and did all the farm stuff, we always wondered like what would that be like, or if we stopped growing weed, did only music, what could we do in music if we were 100% committed to it? And then we've always looked at famous people and different musicians and stuff, and how much they have to go on the road and miss their family, and they always regret it. You see them when they're older; they always wish they didn't go out trying to make money all the time and be famous or whatever it is. Like the family's so important, so like we have to do like half family now, and then like a quarter music, quarter garden or something. It's going to be interesting for these first couple years at least while they're little.
Well, and it's
course,
tough
kind of
work-life balance. No one ever mentions passion.
between
Where do you-
feeding
where
the
do you fit
kids
that in?
and feeding your dreams, man. It's a balance, and
Yeah.
it's like you guys are wearing it well. 4 of the 5 of us here are dads, so
Chris is
we
a cat
get it.
dad. Calm down.
Yeah,
I'm
we
the only
got
one
a cat.
not.
We got a cat dad, though. We got a
Chris's
cat
follow-up name
dad.
is solid.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, it took a long time till I just had mine. I didn't want to have a kid too fast. I wanted to wait a while.
Yeah,
Good for you.
man.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I was starting to get old though. Everyone's like, "Damn, you're gonna be an old ass dad."
Could be like, hey, it's your grandpa. Be like, no, fuck you.
You gotta stay healthy. Keep smoking.
pro-
Keep eating healthy.
Yeah.
Keep working in the garden.
Exactly. The problem with today is that we have children having children, so late dads is not a bad thing. You got to
Yeah,
find
it's
yourself
a lot different than the average. Yeah.
for sure. For sure, Chris,
So
you were
we
going to
had,
say something?
there was
Oh.
somebody in the chat who had a question earlier. That was one that was on my mind as well. It was actually a pretty creative name. No fucking names left over here on Twitch. Said, when growing plants that large, what's the steps that are necessary to make sure the harvest comes out with the least issues, like pest problems, mold, and how much of the part does it connect to the strain or cultivar in that process?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it definitely connects a lot to the strain for sure. Like we try, like that's why it's hard sometimes growing new genetics up on the farms and like trying to put a lot of faith into new things because we don't know how it's going to perform outside, because we've grown stuff that at the end was horrible, had a lot of problems, powder mildew or a lot of bud rot. So it's all depends on weeding out and picking the right strains for sure to make sure you don't have that many problems at the end, and then doing just that, always keeping up on maintenance on cleaning the plant and like making sure that it doesn't get any problems like early ahead, and just staying on top of it with everything from predator bugs to any kind of sprays or teas that we're trying to help get rid of or keep certain bugs off the plants. So there's a lot that comes into it. And the season, like every year is different, like because we're outdoor growers, so we're with Mother Nature. Like sometimes end of the year harvest can be dry as hell, and it could be sunny the whole time through harvest and have a lot of dry days, or sometimes most of the time the rain comes right at the worst time and it's just the plants are getting soaked, shit's falling, it's getting crazy. That's what it's really important to have genetics that are going to be able to withstand that kind of beating up and like weather the storm.
Yeah, and then so it's like a lot of caging and support so we can keep our plants up straight and nice and wide and spread evenly and stuff, so they're not cramming in different spots, or when they do start to get buds, as they start to fall, they're not like a bunch smashing into one section that starts to cause mostly mold problems and stuff. The bugs have been a problem, If bugs used to, when we first started growing, we never sprayed anything. We never knew about predator bugs. We didn't even think about bugs really. there was spider mites after the first couple years of growing, and that was like a huge problem for everyone. And now for the last few years with the broad mites, the russet mites, and the aphids, it's like outrageous. Just the aphids alone, last like 2 or 3 years they started. They used to never be on the buds. They're maybe there in the beginning of the year, but now it's these aphids that are all these new one hemp aphids or whatever that are flying down from in the current. Like these aphids, I guess, fly in the current with the storms and come down different places. They can float in the air for days, and there's some crazy shit going on to where they spread so fast, and now they're everywhere, and it's a huge problem. The aphids are just they're so easy to kill, but they just multiply so fast, and they're worse, I'd say, than spider mites. And broad mites and russet mites are, I'd say, the worst, especially when they get bad. But the predator mites really seem to work really good on them. And if you can start your plant fresh and keep it clean with sprays, we use plant therapy a lot. It works pretty good, but it's not really potent enough to kill a bad infestation on things. So you got to do a little bit of double whammy with the predator bugs and the sprays, and the teas really help a lot. Also, to just not have to spray with insecticides and stuff, the teas alone can keep your plant clean. And even just like with the aphids, spray the bugs off, you know what I mean? It's sometimes, but it's so much spraying to do. You're going through hours and hours to spray these plants, and we have a cool sprayer now, but it still takes a long time. It's just the timing is the main thing that we've noticed throughout all these years and stuff. When we talk to people, is just if you can stay on your timing and have a real specific regimen, and you're not falling behind on bugs also and everything on the plant, but mostly bugs and stuff, is if you just are good on timing, dropping your bugs every couple weeks, spraying, very few times in between that if you have to.
It's just that routine, man. Like you guys now, you were just in Michigan recently. I saw a flyer actually. There was an event you guys were performing at, headlining, which was pretty cool. Congrats on that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
The traveling as you're everything, nothing's static in life. It's all dynamic and it changes. The only thing that's been consistent, obviously, is going to be essentially your gardening. Because you guys get your process and your system down. Now, as the kids are getting older and things are changing and the touring, does it make you ever think about changing up the process of like even your watering, of maybe trying to get like a drip irrigation or anything to automate that outdoor process? Or are you thinking just keeping it the same process and trying to figure that out?
We're always for sure learning things throughout the years, especially, and we really pick up on things to make things easier these days. But we do have full irrigation. We have to do some hand watering here and there, but everything gets watered on the irrigation, so it's a huge amount of time saved with that for sure. If we had to hand water everything, we'd have to pay someone it'd be like a full 12-hour a day job.
You'd have to have a whole crew for that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking initially, because I see it set up there now.
Yeah,
but that's where like this process.
That's a new one. Yeah, we had a whole new setup we put in this year because it's brand new to us, that spot, and it's working really fucking good. It's actually just on gravity. The tanks are high enough to where the whole garden all the way to each. There's 3 different kind of sections, and they're all work with just gravity. You don't have to have, and there's really no power or battery set up. We just have solar through the day pumping from the well to the tanks, and then there's no power really at night. So everything's really grown like off 2 solar panels and and gravity.
Tag or thick ass glass. Use discount code THESTASH at checkout to get 25% off on any of your pieces, whether it's a water pipe, an oil rig, or something like a regular hand pipe. They got you covered. Quality build and function is what Tag is all about. When you're looking for a quality piece that you're going to have for years to come, thick ass glass is the way to go. Now myself, I'm not normally a glass guy, but man, when I got this piece, I finally realized I was missing out on quality glass. There's a big difference from stuff that you get overseas that is just not quality made and not going to be something you have long term versus something like a thick ass glass piece. So if you're looking to upgrade your smoke game or just get yourself another piece to add to the collection, use discount code THESTASH at checkout for thick ass glass at thickassglass.com.
That's awesome. So there's a decent amount of automation you got going on there. What about harvesting? I got to imagine like that's got to be like super time consuming for you guys. Are you guys like cutting all the plants down in one day and then kind of processing? Are you doing like, scattered harvests? Are you hand trimming or using like one of those, dry batch trimmers or like how do you guys harvest?
Yeah. We've gone through a lot of different ways of doing it, but usually we just kind of, we try to do stuff in sections. We're trying not to take too much at once, and that's why it's nice to when you really get to figure out strains and know like, oh, this one's going to get picked this week. This one's usually ready the next week. And like, if we can get to that point of staggering things to make it easier, because it takes a lot of time harvesting them. Like, especially how we used to do it when the gardens weren't so big. We used to like to pick the branches off and then at least do the big fan leaves. We'd take those off and then go hang dry. These days, it's just so time consuming to do that, where we're usually just picking branches, usually about like 18 inches to like 2 feet max, and then just like we'll take those inside the dry room and hang them like that. So we'll have to do things in sections and try to like it. Once again, it comes down to the weather. If some things have to come down when they have to come down, or we can let things go longer than we would normally have to, or we have the ability to let it go longer because the weather's treating us good, so it lets us have a little extra time. But oh man, it's
because we're very delicate with the buds, so we don't do any machine trimming. We actually, for the last, since it went legal, we're not even, I don't even think we're supposed to still trim on the farm. We had a distributor who would do all the trimming for us, so that is the only way that these big farms have even made sense to us, because otherwise we'd have to have our own crew and stuff, which is doable, but do it anything by ourselves now would be impossible for sure. So like when we harvest, like the last few years working at it's a 10,000 square foot farm that we've been working at since it went legal, and we had one with Green Shock, but then that relationship kind of dissolved last year, so now this is like a new spot, but same square footage. But the last couple years, it's like 6 weeks straight. Like you have like 4 or 5 people in the garden harvesting, and each plant's tagged, so we work on one plant till all the tops are taken, work our way down the line till the rooms are filled, and then it's like 2 days in the one room, and then they switch, so then you're ready to pick more the next 2 days later, and you're just shuffling and doing an assembly line kind of our setup, the way that we hang it, dry it, and then take it off, debranch it, and the new stuff comes on the hangers. And so it's this like a slow process. Then we got our secondaries too, so we'll do the tops, kind of light on the tops. We won't pick super deep. We'll just get really the best of the best, and then the seconds will come in at least a week, maybe 10 days, 2 weeks later. We'll like really try to get the seconds picked. So it's just like with the hanger setup and stuff. It's and with not debranching, not deleafing, we can get a shitload picked in a day, and we can get a lot crammed into a room. So it's really not a huge area that we use either to dry all this stuff at, but it's a very quick process where everything has to happen on time. You can't miss a couple days, we run out of space so fast, so we can't pick everything all at once either. So it's just have to do a chunking at a time.
Yep.
You say not that much space for to dry, but I'm thinking like 1 or 2 schools, a classroom. What are you thinking for a dry space?
Yeah, what's great, there's a lot of people that have these giant dry rooms, and it's like, oh my god, like we've been doing it just in a bedroom size for the initial first dry. Maybe we had 2 bedrooms kind of the last couple years, all like with closet hanger style, just like all hangers, poles all hanging off the wall, so we can stack really tight and stuff in the whole bedroom. And then it would be like the size of like a bedroom, so we got 2 of those rooms, and then that would go into like a garage size, like however big that would be, 40 by 40 or something like that. So
They're custom for this? Or we just tear down and set up each time?
Yeah, these ones were at the last couple of years have been tear up and set down style. The garage is kind of set up there at that spot. This new spot, it's not really set up yet. We still got a nice amount of work to figure out what the hell we're doing.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see a Mendo consultation down the road, going around and helping these other people who have a passion, who just don't have the process. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like the Marcus Lemonis of outdoor growing and popping in, and be like bip 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 bip. You know what I'm saying? Get your fee, of course, but you got a patented process. It's your guys' way to do it, and I love the fact that it's the authenticity of been there in the trenches. And that's what this industry's missing, is the people who really have been in this shit. So
Yeah,
the fact you guys are doing it, man, mad respect.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Thank you.
There's so many people out here that we've learned from, and different elders, and like a lot of people that are older than us that have been growing for a long time they're screwed now. They're not going to be able to compete in this game anymore, and they have really good quality herb, but there's so much more to it now, and it's not easy for these legends and these real Real people that have been doing it to be in the game. It's so much new people coming in, and there's just very few people that used to be around that are still around.
It's such a trippy weed business now where things have changed so much and you have to do so much to even try to survive, where it's like so much of the OGs and the elders, they're farmers, that's what their specialty is. They don't do all that other shit. They don't know how to keep track of this or do this and do it. They have their way of doing it and they produce really good stuff, but the way the game has changed, it's just kind of pushing those kind of people out of the way and just not making it doable for them anymore.
Yeah, and that kind of system has no longevity, and I think you're seeing it. At least here in Canada, the biggest cannabis producer in the world, it used to be known as Tweed, but now it's known as Canopy Growth, is dying, and it's because you've got a bunch of people that don't even smoke weed, let alone have any ear to the streets or to the garden, if you will, to how to sustain a plant and sustain a garden. And I think we will see a transition, between what we have right now, where you have a bunch of, I hate using the words Chads and Brads because there's a lot of good Chads and Brads out there. I'm telling you, kind of like the good Karens. Hey, poor
Yeah,
Karen.
nice Karen.
Anyway,
Her name's Karen. Fuck. Yeah.
I didn't come up with this, but that's the problem we have is these people aren't in the industry; they're just in control of it, and that's frustrating. But there is that transition, and that's where I kind of see, the us, not to speak too highly, but it's like you guys, breaking out of the stereotypical stoner farmer view to more of being entertainers, to a world stage, being artists, being men, being fathers, and I think that's okay. And I think that's where we start to see that our industry is actually full of human beings. We are real people, and you guys are play a huge portion of that because of what you're doing. So the farmers and the OGs and the elders that have been in this, they aren't looking at what we're doing, and some of them are, but they're so focused because it's done them so wrong. I can't blame them, but it's like we are standing on their backs, for those that have put down a path before us, and it's important for us to recognize that, and there will be a transition, where we will take back our industry, for lack of a better words.
Yeah, that's dope.
It's happening, man. I'm seeing it in Michigan. It's absolutely happening. I just got in with a company who's a good craft grow, larger craft grow, and vertically integrated. And like the whole mentality was following the shitty blueprint of what has been done in California, Colorado, Washington, everywhere. It's just like put out high THC, pretty bud, and have a ton of it, and then make it as cheap as you can. And it's like that. The simple process of our community is dank bud, that's enjoyable experience, and an affordable price. Boom. It's really fucking simple. So it's like if more of us get involved in this community, we could literally pivot and change so that way the OGs want to get involved. And they feel like, damn, all right, here's an opportunity. I'll go take that job for $100K a year and be their head gardener and run all this shit and have all the control and input because I know the weed. But we've got this weird stigma amongst a lot of us where because if we don't have a degree in botany or we don't have this or that, it's like hop over on the Instagram and go check out some Mendo Boys plants. You can see there's your fucking degree right there. Go see it, like
it's like we ain't got no degrees in no botany or none of that shit. Like we just we're hands on. We learned from OGs around us and experimented and trial and error and went through it and figured out what worked for us and how to do things. And the more we can stay all, like you're saying, united and build up where we get a chance to actually keep things going and like get in a position that allows us to help legends and people that might not be able to do it themselves. But if we could give them a hand to be a part in this game still, like you're saying, and still be involved in it, they help pave this way. And if we can make it to a point where we could still carry them along with us and keep it going, then that's amazing.
So I'm saying we'll pioneer a new area, you know what I'm saying? And it makes it so like, because again, I remember back in the day when we used to look at the dispo weed as the best. That was like people drive all the way to Detroit from where I live to go get the dispensary shit. But caregivers also supplied smoke at the dispensary. So it was just this fire shit. And it's like, well, these people are still around. They just have a nasty taste in their mouth about all these motherfuckers. So when we have the people like yourself, who again, now you're traveling with your music. So you're bringing your passion for the plant with you everywhere. And it inspires another person to look at how that perception is and how that process is. And that's how we can shape this shit, is lead by example. You guys are doing a hell of a job. Like when it comes to outdoor growing, I can't think of anybody else to come represent that shit better right now, in my opinion. Fuck.
Yeah,
Oh, and tell me, you guys are still using a stock as a microphone stand, yes? Or
Oh yeah, got a collection of them. Got like four different ones, and this year growing another one too. Definitely wanted, it's fun doing. Like we said, we love growing plants. Like here at my house in the little personal grow, just got 6 plants or 5 now. Just like small plants, not even tripping on like getting that much. And like one of them, I wanted to just have fun and create another mic stand. So it's so funny to grow a plant just to chop everything off it, only leave a top bundle. Like it's not even about the flower, it's about the stock. Like I'm just growing it to make a weed stock to use as a mic stand. Like, so we definitely have a nice selection of them now. They're so cool. I love being able to bring them out and like just being like, you can feel the energy, holding the stock. Like when we go around shows and are able to bring it with us and people get to actually see it in real life and they like holding it like this is a real stock. My God.
There's been a bunch of times where people are holding it after the show, just admiring it. Oh,
like, can I take a picture with this? This is insane.
My
Like,
time needs to rent that shit. Every cannabis cup, all 50,000 a year that they do, should be the guy up front should be holding on to goddamn stock. Like that'd be so cool, man.
I know, yeah. It's like
Straight connected to the plant.
It's cool that we were able to like just come up with that idea and bring it to life and then run with it and like make it so cool and perfect it and like we the style that we do it and like definitely no one else has ever done that and like we thought how cool it would be to maybe start like gifting some of these stocks to like big artists that we're like inspired or motivated by, like to come out and see them at a show and be like, we brought this gift for you, something that we grew from seed. This is like made specifically for you, like cool shit like that we can start doing to just keep spreading stuff and just like showing people what can happen with it and like just expanding it.
That's what I'm saying, man. Once you get to a point of comfort, stability financially, spiritually, emotionally, your family and all that shit, that's real wealth is when you can spread your passion and inspire other people and help them get to the point of how you feel and like give the skill set that you have to the next person, like pass the baton, so to speak, and see what happens with it. Giving them the blunt, let them run with it.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome, man.
Really cool.
Love it. Yeah. It's
That's
a feel-good
really cool.
thing, man. It's hard to do. And you guys with the outdoor process, it's like there's a lot of people who, even in Michigan, I know tons of people who are like, oh, I grow like Mendo Boys style shit. I'm like, oh, like they will literally reference you guys as a growth style.
Yeah,
You know
for sure.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like some people will say like DWC this and that, like they'll say Mendo Boys. I'm like, oh,
I know it trips us out. It's so cool. Like we get messages from people like all around the world, and crazy different countries. They'll send us pictures like, check it out, I'm growing Mendo Dope style, and it's like it looks like it's like a Mendo Dope plant. Like that's real time. Like it's so cool to see like how much like that we've been able to like educate and put out there. Like, and sometimes it goes over our head because we do it so much where we don't even know how much of an impact it is. And then we see people and we get messages from people that are like, you guys don't understand how much you changed like everything for me, of like how much I was struggling to how much I've learned from watching these videos to now I can produce my own medicine like so clean, and I can like the people that they're able to help, like people that are helping their family members with this stuff, and like it's so cool that we've been able to do that and like reach crazy places like around the world and see this impact and see it continually growing. Like these roots are growing around the world like all the time. The culture keeps growing, and we're so thankful for all the support that we've got over the years, and to keep doing this and keep standing our ground like we've been saying and trying to survive and stick around in this game, even though it's so hard. But we have like we're just really trying. It's a must for us to really keep some real shit going.
Yeah, you talked earlier about how there's a lot of changes happening. You're pivoting laws. I got to imagine with all the laws that are changing, you got to pivot that way, right? You got to keep up with it. We had a question a little bit earlier in the Twitch chat, which I thought would be good to bring up right now. For those of you that are tuning in on YouTube, we're actually recording this live on Twitch. So join us, twitch.tv/From the Stash podcast. Every Thursday, we're recording these. So come join us sometimes. But the question was, I know you guys are in California. What county has the best grow laws?
There's a lot of law stuff that we don't dig into as much as we should. We've known for the last few years we should probably get more political, and we still just can't get all the way into like researching and staying up to date with stuff. Also, partly because it changes so fast. It's so frustrating when you're trying to do something, and next thing you know, everything's changed again. So there's certain counties I'd say that are like the best for the corporate, or you can grow unlimited like they have in down south and Santa Barbara and these other places. They have, like that Glass House company. I don't know if you know, that Glass House company is have 5.5 million square foot fucking garden they have. 5.5 million square foot of greenhouses. All these little weird greenhouses in the desert to the brim of crap weed.
Mids. Yeah. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
They have that much square footage. And then, up here in Mendo, we're limited to 10,000 square foot because their goal was trying to keep us mom and pops alive and stuff. And that just failed when everyone else can do acres and we can't. And we don't even want to do acres in the first place, but you can't really compete anymore when people have that any kind of acreage, let alone 5 million acres. It doesn't make sense what they're going to do. Even if they grew hemp, they could make so many houses, and they could make a spaceship with that much freaking weed stock.
Man.
Makes
Like,
sense what they're doing.
The more we've been getting into this industry and behind the scenes with companies and commercial grows, the more like my perception was everybody's evil. Chad's this piece of shit whose dad's giving him money and he's just doing blow in the back with hookers. Like that was my thought, right? And then like I get to meet more of these people and I'm like, they are just so naive. They thought this was like crypto, like they're gonna get into it. They had some money to invest and they're getting swindled by all these people who know the vernacular. They got the buzzwords.
Yes,
and they'll
very
say
good
shit that gets them in this
talkers.
position. And they fuck it up for the guys like us, the guys and gals who are authentic and want to do it, because we're not going to go scream and beat our chests how good we are.
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
and then we're overlooked by the time we get into that position. It's like, I've used the analogy before. It's like trying to get in a relationship with someone who's had bad exes. And you're like, I'm not going to cheat. I'm a good guy. Like, it's hard to, and now
sure.
this industry from California to here to Canada, it's like, there's opportunity, but it's so much harder. We don't have this endless budget like everyone used to have. We don't have the 5 million fucking acres and shit because people have abused this and they've ruined their inventory and they've ruined their investment. So now it's like, you got to pivot, and it's really helping for the craft growers because it's like, all right, well now I've got the killer product that'll still sell for that price that TV's saying it can't sell for.
Still where you're at. This guy
So
went
I'm gonna still kill it now.
Oh yeah,
I
exactly.
saw a meme that it's like craft growers. There was a guy who had all this gold on and gold teeth and shit. It said craft growers in 5 years. I'm just stunned because it's like, yeah, because that's what it's going to be. Once people realize there's good cannabis out there, they're done with the Bud Light. They actually find some good shit, and it's going to happen, man. It's just the egos hold it back because a lot of us don't have egos and we're humble. And then the big ego people are so loud that, the vocal minority, that they're the ones that get most of the customers and the people. And they think this is the standard of stuff, high THC, purple weed, all this. I'm like, no, what about the quality and the experience? What happened to that? It's going to come out there more.
It's the Bilzerian weed, the Bilzerian industry. You know what I
Very
mean?
good.
Where it's like I can grow a really nice beard, I can have really good looking women, but my weed sucks, bro. And I
Dude.
can't sell it,
But I tell you, it's the best. And look at what I'm doing here. Look at what I got.
I've never seen a company get
look at my weed. Yeah, these two girls. Yeah,
more hate than any company I've ever seen in the weed game. There's no way there would any comment section he's ever had is 90% hate. It's so crazy. It's insane how like in the weeds the most opposite thing for that guy, huh? It's like you want to be the weed guy. It's like the opposite of who you are. It's so crazy to see. Like, and it's so cool to see that what weed does to people, and it makes you think for yourself. It makes you see the real in life and enjoy, like the earth instead of just like fakeness and what humans create with money schemes and all this stuff. And it's like weed will eventually change everyone to people like how we all are, where you can see through the bullshit. It's not like alcohol that makes you drunk and you can't learn from it. You know what I mean? Like everyone that's smoking, and the more people that smoke, it takes them a couple years, but they're going to start to realize what's good, and they're going to see the companies they don't want to support. And that's why branding's so huge. And we've known for so long that we have to have a name. We can't just sell weed with no name on it. We have to like put our name behind it and be brave enough to say, this is our weed. This is how it's our, like, this is, how it's going to be. And this is something you can remember, like come back to. This is how it is. It's so many people out here never had a brand and stuff, and all the new game is for the last quite a few years. It's all brand everything, and everyone's so much better at it than people used to be. We're all hip now, and a lot of people are learn fast, but not like these big companies have been for so long.
Well, and the
think
big problem is a lot of these good brands don't have good weed, and then a lot of the good weed doesn't have a good brand. So it's this like
Yeah,
meet in the middle,
that
finding that
was
fucking balance.
very
Yeah.
tough.
that's what I was going to say. That Bilzerian experience. He's kind of the epitome of, our industry. If you've got the flashy beard, God, I'm jealous if you can't tell. If you've got the flashy beard and you got the good-looking billboards and the naked women,
And he's pretty
it'll
buff.
sell. It'll thrive for a minute. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it will peter out. You need good weed. But on the other side, you've got the old schools. You got guys selling weed in plastic baggies in a dingy basement with shit all over their coffee table. There does need to be a happy medium. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There does need to be some presentation. There needs to be branding. It just doesn't need to be nudity, and it shouldn't be in mama's basement. It does need. There's got to be a happy medium. So, and I think that's what's happening. And that's that Bilzerian or that Ignite analogy. It's like, yeah, the flashiness will sell at the beginning, but the longevity of it doesn't stand a chance because we want good experience. You said it, good experience, dank weed at an affordable price. We're not asking for much, man. Don't
Yeah.
give me much more.
That's
Just
the
give me-
equation for success in this space. Just let people know about it. Then if you can't get it out there, then you're fucked. But let people know. Otherwise, well, it's not hard. Good weed, good price, good
Yeah.
experience. Yeah.
And that's what sucks right now is like there's a weird time transition of the way things have happened for the last since it went legal here in Cali of like the real people have real stuff, but these big dudes are taking up so much market space for a bit that when they take the shelf space and when they have more money to waste on things, it's so hard to come up. So it's like you gotta be smart and pivot and do tricks or make money doing something else. Just, not rely only on your weed sales to survive for a bit because it's not easy to get into certain clubs when they're all full of these companies already. And these days too, like there's certain big distributors out here that will work with the biggest people. So then when they go to a club, they have like 60 companies they represent. So now it's like for a small dude who just is his own distributor to get in there is going to be a lot harder now. It's like these other companies are they're filling the club up easier, faster, and everything's super efficient when it comes to the business. But there's a lot of crap products. But the club has to have something on their shelf. That's the problem. That's so weird too. Like for us out here, like the clubs don't have enough super fire weed from the people who used to be in the game in 215. So they have to have crap on their shelf, even if they don't really want to support this dude. Their shelves are empty. And so it's a weird 22 that this in between time is really trippy. And we knew it was going to be weird. And we didn't think legalization was going to be good for anyone, but we knew besides like the world, everything has to be legalized. It's one step towards, it not being a bad stigma and weed being just normalized, so that's huge, but it's bad for business.
Yeah,
I think
that's
we're
the
in a
downside.
we're in a good time right now. I think it's important for us to see the silver lining. Because I think you're right. It is a weird time, but the people before us were in a dangerous time. You know.
Yes.
So
That's way
so in fairness, it's like I'll take weird, but we gotta keep fighting. We gotta keep pushing because it's not right yet. It's not good. It's
No.
still a lot of uncertainty and uncomfortableness in terms of just regulation and pricing and who's in charge and who's getting forgotten about and just that weed the wrong green is influencing the weed. So or the weed industry. So it's I'll take weird over dangerous or tough, rough, but a lot of work still for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Um,
it is. You guys are doing a good job on spreading the knowledge too. It's so much of us, just so much knowledge to spread to the average person that doesn't know yet.
all about diversifying now. You kind of said it, right? You can't put all your eggs in that one basket. It's about diversifying. We all have a message to tell, man. You diversified your message to music. You're an artist. You chose a different avenue to spread your word, and that's incredible. We've done the same thing, and I think that's kind of the moral of the story is that you can't really rely on the weed alone to get you somewhere. You have to make it happen. It's just find your light. Where is it? That's really what you gotta answer.
Yep.
Facts, man. We got just a little bit of time. This is probably the record longest episode, maybe one of them. Great fucking
One of
epi. I feel like I could chat with you
You
guys all
guys
the time.
normally do 30 minutes or an hour?
Normally 30, then we smoke for like 30, but we've been going longer. But it's like I smoked the whole time. But
Yeah, like I was saying, our setup isn't nice, so we can't smoke. We're always itching. Like after an hour, like damn, it'd be nice if we had a setup.
Yeah. Well, it's like in this case, there's some questions we have in the chat. We always talk about part twos. I fucking love it because there's other areas of what you guys are doing that I'd like to dive more into, because again, on the entertainment side of being able to mix, I feel like cannabis and music have always coexisted.
Yes.
But to be not as many people, otherwise the ones you've mentioned, like again, Cypress Hill, Cottonmouth Kings, Devin the Dude comes to mind,
Devin's dope,
kind of
so-
Wiz Khalifa, but
Wiz
there's
had to
not.
get it, yeah.
Redman.
Yeah,
Redman
yeah,
was-
but like they're full. I'd say most of them are custies. You know what I'm saying? As like, there's not much of us growers that really
Yes.
represents this space. There was some in Cottonmouth Kings, but not like you guys are fucking growers, straight farmers. So like the music, people like to have relatable things with music, especially, and that's hard to find. And with like grower music, that's fucking nuts. So to transition, I think we definitely should have a part two, even diving into that. But
Yeah.
just to see where you can take again the commonality of the plant and evolve to the next level and take the bond of people, and that's going to get the attention first. And then when they see those other layers of talent and passion and expression, that's the next level of shit. That's really where you take it to that real wealth, in my opinion. Not even the money, that's the byproduct, but the real wealth of like, man, that shit, home, I've impacted people, fucking feel good, I live good, like,
Yeah.
living the dream, baby. Sometimes it's peaks and valleys, but it's happening.
Yeah, it's very cool for sure. There's a lot of cool stuff in life. It's cool to see, like, it is true. Like, you can do almost whatever you want to do. You just have to really bust out.
Perseverance and push through the shit, man. You guys in California, it's like we in America, especially in Michigan, we've mapped every bit of every dynamic of this market pretty much as the forefathers, people started as California. And it's crazy where you see when you go down there, the evolution now concentrates in the community and how so many of the growers are kind of like, I wouldn't say segregated, but they're not in the scene versus what people think is the scene and is the real community and is the real people. So like to get into the part two, definitely, I think talking even about where you guys are going and giving little promos of when people could link up with you, because the story behind the brand and who you guys are is like, that's what separates you. And then they can see the plants and it's like, damn.
Yeah, like, okay.
You know?
Now I'm
Like,
listening.
okay, they're telling the truth. All right. Yeah.
You guys have got a show coming up in August, if I'm not mistaken. Wink was kind of just showing that. What are you guys doing? What do you guys got coming up? Where can people follow you over the next little while?
Yeah, for all of our tour dates and stuff, you could go visit mendodopemusic.com. We have everything posted up there. We're gonna be doing, we're kicking off. This is like the start back to doing some shows after Bleezy's baby's doing nice and healthy and chilling now. So we got a little local show right here in our hometown, Ukiah, at the Thirsty Axe on the 19th. And then the following weekend, we're out at Lakeport for another show. And then after that, I think we're actually getting ready to be coming back out to Michigan in September.
How about your boy?
For the Cure Cup. It's I think
the
we're
Cure Cup,
just
really? I didn't even know.
just locking it in with them right now. And I think we're going to be Marlon Asher and Cottonmouth Kings performing at that one.
Might have to
I'll
make
be
my
out
way
there
down for that one.
100%. I'll pull up on you with some
You might
Michigan
be-
weed too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be super fun. So I think that's going to be one of the next ones coming up. Besides that, on our website we have all the links to everything else, and they can follow us right on our Instagram page, Facebook. We're on there sometimes. YouTube, definitely.
Crazy videos on YouTube. Make sure you guys check that out. Crazy videos, great cinematography, beautiful gardenery.
Everybody out there who's been supporting us over the years, we actually just broke 28 million views on the channel just recently. So
Hey, congrats, boys.
those
awesome.
Milestones.
like over the time of how much stuff has happened with like Instagram pages being deleted and shutting us down here and shadow banning us here, like that, we've been able to keep our YouTube channel alive through it all and still going, even though it's not like they ever gave us too much love and no plaque or no respect.
Yeah,
from
right
YouTube
now
still
we're
because of
actually
what we do.
Yeah,
But
we're in the. We've been emailing YouTube for like I've been emailing for 3 months now about the plaque, and they're like looking into it. And they say
I got a homemade one. Shout out to Bionic Rooster.
Get back, and then they stay in contact really good though. They're like just wanted to say that we're still looking into it. We're
still deciding if we want to approve.
They
it
like
or
you
not.
guys.
What's their? They've got their little minions going over every single video of yours, trying to determine if
I was always worried about too is like how far are they gonna get mad at certain things or whatever. But like we've
They will.
yeah, and we wanted we knew when we get the plaque, and then our homie Master Bong said weed channels don't get plaques. And I'm
Yeah,
like not a
this
lot
kid
of people
told me
don't
no.
get plaques. You have to be a certain channel. And I'm like, well,
Yeah,
that's
that
whack.
sucks.
And then I saw recently why I started again a couple months ago was like there's a channel that does like Canna Cribs or some shit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah.
Growers.
That homie
Yeah,
right there.
I
Yeah,
think
but that
I saw on their
style.
Instagram they got a plaque.
Did
Uh,
they? Oh,
I
That's
mean, I
it's
think it was that company. It was there's someone just like that, or it was them, and they do like tours on YouTube of weed gardens, and they had a plaque, and I'm like, God damn it, dude, it's worth a try again. Like, come
bro.
on.
It's like
Twitter,
you make
man.
Christian rap and you're trying to get a platinum plaque. We just ain't gonna happen. They just won't do it. Like it's not even the same genre. They fuck us. It's crazy. I had one of our guys from the
It's
community
so
made me one
whack.
like 3D printer style once because we're at like 100 and like almost 200 now on Cannabis
Nice.
Lifestyle.
Hell
They don't
yeah.
give a fuck about us. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's
Yeah,
so,
they make us have to do it ourselves to just feel
It's-
like we did something.
No, man.
Yeah.
It's like I'll tell my kids, like, no, I got a plaque. They're like, Dad, that's fake. I'm like,
Is this authentic? Did they say no? Fuck that.
Still in the mail.
It's
Coming.
like,
It's in the
on,
mail.
dude. It's got to be getting closer. We got to be getting closer to them stop messing with us with like mostly the metaverse, the Facebook and Instagram people. They're the worst with it.
old
I guess
Zucks.
TikTok's maybe the worst. They don't want no weed at all on TikTok.
At all. I know. I started one, put up a few videos, and they got taken down immediately. I was like, what?
That's fast. There's a couple
Yeah.
people I've seen get away with it that have put our music in it. I'm like, how the hell do you get away with that? But it's very quick, random, small
Yeah.
glimpse.
That's
The
that
haters
weird.
and the heinous.
That's that weirdness we were talking about, right? It's not prosecution from our government anymore. It's
Yeah.
prosecution from big business, right?
Yes.
It's transitioned. It's like, and that's kind of what I was referring to when I said that nobody wants us anyways, because it's a battle, man, and it's a grind when it comes to just trying to find presence. But
Yeah.
man, this has been an incredible episode, guys. We could seriously talk to you guys all fucking day, but we are all busy, and I know you guys. We got dads up here and daddy daycare everywhere
man,
around
keep
here.
going
I want to
crazy,
thank you guys. Huge thank you on behalf of everyone in the chat for coming
and
out
it's
today,
B,
man.
Dick, man, for lining this up. He's the bridge between us, man. Shout out to It's B. He's a viewer of ours, viewer of yours. Thought it would be cool to have us collab, and son of a bitch, it did. And that's how us three met. Is a viewer linked us up, and fuck, years later at this point, these my homies, business partners, like ride or die.
Very cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I'm ready to go jump somebody for Chris. Let's get this shit.
yeah, that's dope. 'Cause I like you guys' stuff that you have going on. I didn't realize you guys had that much stuff out there. I was like, damn, you guys are killing it.
Appreciate it, man. You guys
Almost
as
like
well.
a
Yeah.
dozen channels between the three of us. These guys.
That's crazy.
It's out of
Yeah,
control.
that's smart.
But seriously,
definitely
guys,
appreciate you guys coming on. This was awesome. So thank you guys for your time, and yeah, hopefully in the future we can come back on and do a part 2 or something if you guys can free up some more time for us.
Yeah, for sure.
For
we
sure.
we can try to do it. Maybe even when we get a couple branches, we can get picked and do a little-
Awesome.
Yeah.
yeah, hell yeah,
Oh, yeah.
We'll go and our others actually set it up so we can smoke with you guys.
Yes.
hell yeah. Well, we were in California last month, so yeah, we
Next time we
yeah,
go, we'll
we
holler,
get
man.
around.
Oh
Nice.
yeah, come through the garden anytime.
you guys are out this way, tap in so we can bring you out to the spot.
Nice.
Appreciate it, guys. Guys,
On
thank you
behalf
so much
of,
for tuning in today. Thank you for our sponsors for always being there for us. We appreciate you guys on Patreon. Go check out Mendo Dope Boys on their Instagram and mendodopemusic.com to check out all their tour dates. I got that right?
Yep.
Sir.
Sweet,
Perfect.
guys. Thank you so much, Twitch. We will see you guys on another one. Peace.
Love y'all.
Peace.